right. Okay. Well, I gotta tell you guys, today I was racing against the Big E. What's the Big E, you say? It's called, is the lawnmower gas tank empty? About to be empty? Is it really on E? Or is it just a suggestion? Well, here in Quebec, what we do is you have 3 stages of out of fuel. The first stage is the fuel pump light comes on, okay? And your needle's on the E. The second stage is about, you know, a little bit down the road when you start hearing dinging, lots of dinging. And the E, it's about halfway to the bottom of the E, right? And then there's the third stage where you're actually out of gas, when the E, when the needles pass the E. But there's a caveat, subsection 2, paragraph 4 states that should your needle, okay, pass the E and say you're out of gas, you should, in theory, if you knew when that first ding was, should have another 4 or 5 sets of dings before you are actually truly out of gas. That is the law. Well, ish, kind of. So anyway, I was like, I thought for sure I was on fume. Well, I don't know what that lawn tractor. Normally my client fills it up, you know, and whatever, but the needle I think is broken. So he probably, like, it always shows full when you start it, and then somewhere, like, it goes all over the place while you're driving. So he normally fills it up anyway. Like, I'm sure he's aware that the needle's not accurate, but if he's not, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that was close, but I got it. I did it. So I'm now off to round 2. If I'm lucky, I can get the truck back before 1:30. So my dad won't be out of a truck for too long. She had short shorts, like really short shorts. Summertime, eh? Got a big rig behind me. Better let them know I'm going to do some fancy turning. Because these guys can't stop on a dime. Then he's speeding up. So that's why you want to get out of his way. There's always that. Yeah, so, you know, most channels are like one topic channels. You guys know that I don't do that. Like, I do way too many things to just stick to one topic. And it's like, well, why not have a channel for each topic? You know how pain in the ass that would be? So for me, it doesn't make sense to do that. I just lob it all in there, and you know, if I put up a video of a topic you like, great. If I put up a video of a topic that you're not really into, fine. You know, you can still follow and you can still do whatever, right? But I cover many topics. One topic, such as, try not to crash the vehicle. Yeah, there we go. Is my musician stuff, right? And every now and then, I'm still on my metal kick. I do listen to country music from time to time. I'm not into rap and hip-hop. I can respect some of it if it's done really well, but in general, not my thing, right? But I'm still into metal, right? And my whole guitars, if you follow any of my beautiful guitars that I have, even if you're not following me, follow my guitars, right? I'm really digging the 7-string, right? It's been about a year, a little over a year since I've gotten the 8-string, and the 8-string is starting to feel normal to me now. The 7-string seems to be, you know, I phased into the 7-string really easily in comparison, but it's still harder work than a normal 6-string, right? Because of the scale length, and you know, the extra width on the fingerboard is not so much that gets you, it's the scale length, right? But with the 8-string, it's kind of both. The scale length of 26.5 inches instead of 25.5 or 24 3/4 of your normal, like, what we'll call 60s style guitars. You know, your Fenders and your, wow, he's in a rush. Guess the speed limit's not good enough for him. Like your Fenders and your Gibsons and whatever. And they'll produce a certain classic rock sound, even classic metal sound, but there's a limitation to those, right? The Fenders are too twangy. The Gibsons, they're lively, but they're not, and tight sounding, but they're not as heavy as the long range, extended range guitars. So when you get into your, like, you know, your extended range guitars, you think like Schecters or whatever. Well, those suckers, they just sound heavier because of that longer scale, you know, 26.5, 27, 28-inch fan fret scales. And that's what all the modern guitar players are using, like modern sounds, right? And I've been practicing my neoclassical stuff, moving from your, you know, classic pentatonic rocker metal guy to like neoclassical. Think like Yngwie versus Jimi Hendrix, you know what I mean? Or even like Eddie Van Halen, very pentatonic. Nuno Bettencourt, great guitar players, very pentatonic. You know, Yngwie, he does a lot of pentatonic stuff, but he is, wow, that's a nice truck. He's basically a neoclassical player, right? He works with the modes and stuff. And all the newer players are like that. Mark Holcomb, you know, not a big solo guy, but his solos are pretty awesome. But they're definitely like Phrygian mode or Lydian mode, stuff like that. You know, Joe Satriani, and Steve Vai, king of the Lydian mode, right? The happy stuff, right? That really spacey kind of intergalactic stuff. Great guitar players. But the modern stuff is different, right? It's heavy, it's down-tuned, it's, you know, very progressive. You don't have the normal 3-chord or 4-chord structures, all that stuff, right? So I'm always looking for like inspirations of new metal bands and stuff like that. And I'm going to mention this one because it's the singer herself is in a couple of different project bands, but for anybody there that likes folk music and metal, there's quite a few folk metal bands, but there's only a few folk death metal bands. And the only one that I think that really nails it is Elvedi, or Evoluti, however you want to say them. I just watched one of their, it was a Summer Breeze series, concerts out in Europe. And it basically, it was Elvedi playing about 4 nights ago from the making of this video. And they're like a 9-piece band. They've got everything in there. They got, you know, heavy pounding guitar, detuned guitar, you know, down-tuned guitars and basses. They've got keyboards, they've got violin, flute, harpsichord, hurdy-gurdies in there, you name it. It's all in there, right? Bagpipes, tin whistle, like they're a really cool band. The death growl vocals, the guy's name's Christian Kriegel. I can't remember his last name. But anyway, his vocals are pretty cool, but it's highlighted by this angelic singing of a woman named Fabian Ernie. She's Swiss German. Easy on the eyes too. Fiery redhead, right? But her vocals are so good. And I've been an Elvedi fan for like over a decade now, easy. And they have progressed. Songs I would recommend, their most poppy song would be Call of the Mountains. It's with the older singer Anna Murphy. She was fantastic too. But they replaced her with this Fabian Ernie lady. And her live vocals, she'll give Floor Jansen from Nightwish a run for her money. She is so good. Like, clear, perfect pitch, great voice, great, you know, great timbre tone, all that, right? But she also has this side project from some of the band members called Illumashade. And I want to recommend a song, and when I recommend songs, I usually recommend that you listen to them, you know, full screen, lights out, headphones on, or as loud as you can stand it, and just enjoy, uninterrupted. Don't stop and start. Just listen to it the whole way through. And the song is called Hymn, kind of like a church hymn or a sea shanty hymn, that kind of thing. H-Y-M-N. And it's like Disney metal. It's the best way I could describe it. It is so good, but the guitar at the end will explain extended range guitars and basses. That riff at the end is just to die for. It is so good. If I could achieve that sound on my recordings, I'd be like really, really happy. But yeah, the song is called Hymn. An Elvady song. Again, you have to listen to the whole thing to really get it, to understand what her role is in Elvady and stuff like that. But it's called Aidus, A-I-D-U-S, which means fire in ancient Gaelic language. And she sings in that language too. It's pretty cool. But I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Go check that out. Illumashade and Elvady.